Okay, so in this video, I'm going to take a free chord generator that already exists for Ableton, and I'm going to rein it in and redesign it a little bit so it's easy to randomly generate good sounding chords without having any theory knowledge. So we're going to start by loading in a drum rack. And then the chord generator we're going to use is called PML chord generator. You can download it from their website for free. I'll drop a link to that video in the description. And then before we drop in our synth that we're going to use to generate chords, I'm going to make some modifications to this. So first, I'm going to change every parameter on here that I don't want to be randomized to white. And now I'm going to take all of the white parameters, right-click, and click Exclude Macro from Randomization. Okay, and then one more thing, I'm going to go into the map section, and I'm going to change the bottom end of the pitch to -5. Okay, so this is the modified chord generator. Now we're ready to put on our synth. So for this video, I'm going to use a wavetable. I'm actually going to turn off the chord generator while I design the wavetable sound a little bit. So let's bring it up to a saw in the shape zone. And then we're going to bring the frequency down to about 70, 80. Bring the resonance up to about 50. And then we're going to go into the mod matrix, click on frequency, and we're going to add about 60 values of filter frequency into envelope 2. Now I've got a nice pluck. I'm going to turn down my chord channel a little bit because it's going to get loud once they start turning them into chords. And one more thing I'm going to do is create some macros for some of the parameters in this synth. This is especially useful if you want to create multiple instances, although we're just going to do one instance for right now. So let's go ahead and map frequency to macro 1, resonance to macro 2. Let's map the envelope attack to macro 3, decay to macro 4. And let's map the wave shape to macro 5. Okay, now we're going to turn our chord generator back on. And then just go ahead and hit random. And boom, you have a new chord. They're not always going to sound great. Sometimes you have to hit random a couple times to get a good one. I like that, so we'll stick with that for right now. Okay, so that's the main idea of how you're going to use the chord generator in a simplified way where you can generate good sounding chords without much theory knowledge. Now let's make these chords interesting. So we'll start by dropping in a Tantra, which is a good plugin. It is a paid plugin. If you don't have Tantra, I'll show a free multi-effects processor alternative next. Now we're just going to find a good preset in Tantra. Excuse me if my video is glitching. The Tantra interface tends to make video lag really bad. Also, let's go ahead and draw in some chord notes to use while sampling Tantra presets. Okay, so I'm going to go with this preset, but I'm going to modify it a little bit, which I also tend to do most of the time with Tantra. So let's take off the delay, take off the glitch, and then bring the reverb down to about 3% mix. All right, that's not bad. Okay, now one more step on this chord. We're going to add in another free plugin called Steps. Steps is a really awesome plugin I just found, which is basically just a step sequencer for automation. So we're going to change the rate to 8, and now we're going to map it to the frequency on our filter. And then we're also going to bring the smooth up to about 38%, 35%, something like that. And I went with 1/8 thirds with the rate. So that's just modulating the frequency underneath the Tantra, which will add a fair amount of character to it. Okay, let's build out the track. Let's get a kick in here. And put a drum bus on the kick, just fatten it up a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to start with a basic operator for the bass. And let's run back over to the chord generator, and we can use the parameters on this to determine what key we're in. When you put a synthesizer in a drum rack, it's just going to play the note C. So then you come over to pitch, and it's -1 step, so we know we're in a B. And then you look over here, and it's panned to the right for major/minor, so we're in a B minor. So we'll write a bass line in B minor. Now let's modify this operator a little bit. I'm going to change the wave shape to a square D and bring the frequency down pretty low to about 250 or so. And then let's write something in. So I'm just going to throw a mixed in key on that kick drum to see if it's agreeing with the bass. And it looks like it's in a G minor, but it's got a strongest note in D. So I'm going to move it up to an E, just because an E will agree with the B better than a D would. Sounds a little better to me. Then we'll go ahead and put a sidechain compressor on the bass and sidechain it to the kick. Let's go ahead and make a ghost kick really quick. Then we can throw a compressor on the bass to sidechain it to the ghost kick. Cool. Let's put some tops in here. Let's get some snares in there. Let's get an open hi-hat in there. Okay, let's add some vocals. Let's do some one-shots.
Four level.
I'm just gonna transpose all these to key signatures that match B minor. Okay, I think that's sounding pretty good. Let's put a pad, I think, beneath this chord. So I'm going to load in a wavetable again. And this one I'm going to keep super basic. Either do a soft sine wave or maybe a little bit of a peak in there. Start with that. Then we're going to do it in B minor. Let's do a seventh. And then I'm going to put a auto filter on it and an LFO to just have it kind of wave in and out. So let's set the LFO to about 30% to 100. Set the rate to just 1 beat right now. Map it to the frequency. And phase it a little bit. Okay, it sounded pretty sick. Let's put a shaker in. I'm gonna go with the shaker I made in Machine. It's just like the default Machine shaker. Let's put a little swing on it. And I'm gonna put a vocoder on it to make it a little less dry. I'm gonna dry wet down to about 30 or so. Cool. Okay, let's get a top in here. Just like something really simple to kind of glue things together. I'm gonna go with this guy right here. I'm gonna bring it down to about -5. I'm gonna bring the transients down to about 40. I'm gonna take that vocal chop out of it just because that's kind of super recognizable, maybe a bit overused. It's a subtle difference, but you can hear just a little bit more fullness in the track with that top end. Maybe let's do a simple synth phrase. I'm going to grab an operator and make another pluck. So we'll change the wave shape to square D, bring the frequency down to about 250, bring the envelope up. Let's put an LFO on the frequency. Change the percent to 25 to 35. We'll change the rate to 1.5. Let's actually do 25 to 50. Okay, let's take a little bit of lows out this with an EQ8. Let's put a reverb on it. Do a hybrid reverb. Bring the dry wet down to about 20. Too much. Bring the dry wet down to about 7. Okay, then let's put a delay on that. Bring the filter up to a high pass. Bring the dry, wet, and the feedback down to 30-ish. All right, let's hear it. That's pretty sick. I'm happy with that. Okay, then one last thing. I did say that I would show an alternative to Tantra for multi-effects processing that's free and also good. Not the same as Tantra, but still good. So let's do that. So this is the chord without the Tantra on it. So the free multi-effects processing unit I found is called Anal. I will put a download link in the description, or I'll put the link to the guy's product download in the description. It's free. I think it has like an option to pay if you want to. And basically, it's just a bunch of different filters, reverbs, phasers, distortions, all jammed into this rack. It's a pretty good effects rack. And so what we're going to do is two things. For one, we're going to throw a randomizer on it. Okay, we'll go with that. That's not bad. You got to kind of bounce around if you're going to go this route because they don't always sound great. I'm going to pull the reverb down. Then I'm going to throw another step sequencer in here. I'm going to map it to the filter type, and I'm going to map it to the phaser type. And then I'm going to bring the spectral amount down just because I'm noticing that it's causing this long tail. Although it sounds really cool, it's I want this chord to be a little bit more dynamic. Okay, so let's see how that sounds with everything. Still pretty sick. Do a little cross comparison between that and the Tantra. So here's the Tantra. And then here's the Anal multi-effects processor. Sick. All right, well, that does it. Hope you guys dug this video and are getting stuff out of that. Hit me up in the comments. Tell me if you want to learn something else, if you have any questions about the productions I'm doing. And yeah, I'll see you next time.